Hello and welcome to another edition of Caged Full Throttle on this very special edition of Caged Full Throttle because we are celebrating our first birthday when Cage first came to Facebook and on the World Wide Web on this very day. Tonight, Andy Watts, myself, and with me, as always, is Matt Josie. Good evening, Matt.
Hello, Andy. Back once again after 3 weeks, and it's a very special night as well.
Indeed it is. And with us tonight on our panellist is Jordan Hollands. Good evening, Jordan.
Good evening, Andy. Good evening, Matt. Yeah, good to be back after a few weeks off. So yeah, let's get to it. We've got a lot to discuss tonight.
Yeah, quite a bit. And obviously it is the first anniversary of cagebangers.co.uk. Bang on the year since I sat here and got the website together, but it's all been worth it. I'd just like to thank everybody for visiting the website and contributing to the website or the Facebook page in any way, shape or form. I'd also like to thank, of course, Bryson Walker as well, who without him the website wouldn't have been updated as much from around, I think it was February, March time. So he's gave a huge hand to the website and he's done very well. But we're always growing. Obviously we've got Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, the website and now the podcast. I'd certainly say the website, the Instagram and the Facebook page are absolutely massive at the moment. Not so much the Snapchat and the Twitter, but we're doing fantastic in all the other areas. So here's to another year or 5 or 10 more, however long it's going to be. But it's been fantastic. So yeah, thank you everybody for contributing so far.
Excellent. It's so good to see that even now, after a year, we've got nearly 4,600 followers on Facebook. I mean, that is remarkable.
It's incredible. And not just that, over 1,500 Instagram followers as well. And as time's gone on, it's amazing to see. The Instagram's had a large following. Every photo seems to get at least 30, 40 likes. Some even hit 3 digits. So that's fantastic. It's also worth mentioning still, like we do now and again, we're still after more reporters for the website. Regardless of any track, any form of banger class, what meeting. We're looking for anywhere. Stand Lake, Mildenhall, Ringwood, literally anywhere. Of course, a report is sort of like the Wasted Magazine style, just an intro as to who's there, how many cars are there, a few lines in each race, and of course a summary of the meeting. So if you are interested in reporting for cagebangers.co.uk, feel free to message me, Matt Josie, on Facebook or Jack and Junior 29 on Oval Chat. So yeah, hopefully we get some more people who can write in for the website.
And we'll start with our reports, as always, on our podcast. We'll go to the Aldershot Back to Basic Championship of the Universe, where around 40 cars turned up on the day with, as always, interesting material coming from Mike Parry in 328, where he brought out his third Citroen C15 van, and certainly quite an unusual paint job to it, because he actually left it the way he brought it out of the barn, I would say, but certainly he put it to good use. Lauren Annette never fails to impress, our lady driver in 713 in the Hyundai Matrix, but certainly a very steady meeting. Heat win, as always, from Joey Reynolds in Heat 1. Aaron Morris in 591 won the second heat, and Jason Greener won the third heat. But of course, the big race of the afternoon, being the Championship of the Universe, was retained for another year with Aaron Morris. And very good machinery out there as well from Weevil in 522, who brought out a Peugeot 309, where the actual tailgate was more glass than bodywork, and was actually out there with no boot on it at all. So as you can imagine, when it came to the DD, Weevil's car went home worst wrecked out of everybody's. The DD itself was won by Cookie Paul Cook in 55 with a very good battle right through to the bitter end. So our Championship of the Universe certainly proved to be a very entertaining afternoon. Also as well was the Ringwood Jason Burt Farewell, which brought in around 90 cars, all Volvos and Granadas, and saw the return of 122 Sean Gallagher in a Volvo Hearst. Aston Burt and Bertie both in Mark II Granada limos, and a few spins, a rollover for 36 Misfit from the Bears. Hurst followed in during the consolation by Gallagher.
Yeah, my notes aren't very helpful, are they? But no, the Hurst 112 Sean Gallagher did get followed in during the first constellation. But yeah, it was a pretty good meeting overall. The funnel and DD were very entertaining. It's worth mentioning. Let's not forget there was a minute's applause for the late 206 Kingy as well, which I don't know if any of you guys saw any videos of that, but it was quite emotional. And good effort from everybody there. In terms of the results, Heat 1 was taken by 521 Ace Ash. Heat 2, number 7, James Charles. Heat 3, 632 Reedy. Constellation 1, 760 Joey. Constellation 2, that's a treble 3 car of Charlie Randall. And the final was, of course, won by 528 Jeffro, who seems to win quite a few races these days, going sideways. And the DD was won by 624 Lossie Jr. Now, did anyone see the highlights of this meeting?
Yes. I did.
What did we think? What did we think?
Great meeting, by the looks of it, to be honest. I thought, yeah, really good meeting. Obviously, there was a bit of speculation about the nudge and spin going into the meeting. People are like, I'm not going to bother going there. But to be honest, it looked like the right decision in the end. Everyone had a good little race round in the Granada or Volvo and had a good crash later on. So, yeah, looked really good.
I think a lot of meetings now, certainly big ones, have actually started doing the first opening heats with the nudge and spin sort of light contact starts to them, which I think is a very good idea.
Yeah,
I mean,
again, again, it's like the classic Carnage, but for Unlimiteds. Not the Carnage, Battle of the Bilge. You got it's what it said in the tin: nudge and spin heats, followed by some destructive final constellations and destruction derby, obviously. But it was the driver's wish at the end of the day. So I think if the driver wanted that, then fair enough. And it overall looked like a good meeting. And it's worth mentioning as well, Ringwood is well known for their booking lists not quite being 100% accurate on the day, but around 90 cars out of 100 plus booked in. So overall it looked pretty decent, I'd say. I mean, it was a good meeting, I'd say, overall.
And you was also at the Stan Lake Old Boys micro meeting, Matt. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, I was. I didn't go last year, sadly, but I went the year before. But this year, again, didn't do too bad. It was just a overall good day out. Overall, 24 unlimited Old Boys with around 28 micros. The best car in the unlimited has to easily was the 280C or 451 Camel. Sadly, didn't make the track for whatever reason. It was later sold to, I believe, Gary Webb. But that was a crying shame because it was a nice car and it was well painted as well. There was a Senator Limo for 326, Noddy. Sean Gallagher, that man yet again, came back out in a used Rover P5. Moving on to the unders class, there was a nice unpainted K10 Micra for 538 Curtis Salvage. And then going back to Unlimited, was a 294 had a used Yank from Wimbledon. That Terry Coke one, if anyone remembers. From the,
Ploughline Classic, I think it was, wasn't it?
Didn't do very much that day, but he bought that out anyway, so it wasn't too bad. It was pretty steady. The Unlimiteds would nudge and spin up into the final with a very entertaining final and Destruction Derby. The Micros had a good day overall as well, had their moments. But Curtis Savage was on form in Heat 2 very much. He was loving it, thumbs up everything from the photos if anybody saw.
I saw them as well.
Yeah, people jacking him up and he was loving it. He stuck it in reverse and done a bit of damage to some other cars as well. But overall, a good day for him. Jeffrey Wolford from Team PVR number 5 got blitzed in the final quite well. Oh no, he didn't. Did he? Yeah, he got blitzed well in the final, but he did hit number 26. What's his name? I forgot now. Sorry. But yeah, he hit number 26, and then Jeffrey Wolford, the man himself, got done by somebody else. Bizarrely, just 3 cars came up for the Unlimited Destruction Derby, and initially you'd think, oh, that's not very much, you won't get much, a few spins and a few little jack-ups, but in theory, it was quite decent. Keithy got some awesome airtime on the driver, not once but twice, so that was cool to see. But yeah, as I say, overall it was a pretty good and lively day. For £12 entry, you can't complain. All I can say is roll on next year, when hopefully we'll see another Old Boys meeting. So yeah, overall it was a good meeting.
On after that, we had the Aldershot Micro Back to Basic meeting, which also featured 4x4 national bangers as well. 2 banger classes, 7 4x4s turned up on the afternoon, and their races also consisted of ramp jump racing, and always a spectacular end. That was superb.
I mean, last year was a bit of criticism for myself because it seemed that I think 8 turned up, and after the first heat, a lot of them died because of the ramp. But thankfully this year, a lot of them survived for the meeting, didn't they?
Yes, they did. And one of the highlights, I think, of the afternoon was the end to heat number 1, where Keefe himself actually buried and followed in Andrew Jones in 3-4-1 right at the end of heat number 1, which apparently goes back to a feud that's been going on between those two drivers. So that's something I didn't expect to come from that meeting.
And it happened right in front of me. Well, it was right where I stood. When it sort of happened, I wasn't expecting it. I just saw Keefe pick him up, sort of went square, and all I just remember is just me going, "Oh my God," like that, thinking, "Jesus Christ, that was some following," but some massive damage to the Jonesy Jeep, it must be said. But yeah, I mean, fair play to Keefe. It was a decent shot.
And over 30 microbangers turned up on the day as well, most of them consisting of Vauxhall courses being back to basics. There was no full KOs, no Fiestas, no K11 Nissan Micros, so it was a mixture of cars, most of them, as I say, consisting of Vauxhall courses. The meeting for them was the Mark Hoppo Hopkins Memorial, where 380 Lethal Lee Hopkins, his son, actually turned out in his colours with the original fin plate on the car as well, and ran as number 60 for the afternoon. There was a Metro out there amongst them as well, which don't see many of them about these days.
No, that was from 369. That was from 369. I think it's Daniel Thompson.
Yeah, Daniel Thompson.
Effort there.
And I think the most unusual car, I think I classed that as an award on the day. The most unusual and rare car was by Keefe in a Proton Chavy I saw on the back of it. So I'd never seen one on the road before, but I've certainly never thought I'd ever see one on track in this early stage. Certainly, did you ever think you'd ever see one? Have you ever seen one on the road before?
Never heard of him. So yeah, never heard of him. But it's a good effort from Keefe, obviously, and definitely deserved the best car award. That's for certain.
And not forgetting, of course, there was a Suzuki Ignis from 218 Jack Chapman, a very late Nissan Micra K12 bubble Micra from Carl Lelis from the Wonky Donkeys in 737, and Tom Farron, also from the Wonky Donkeys, actually had a Peugeot 107. Again,
107,
car
it's
I've
not
never
a C1
seen.
then. It's not a C1, because I was a bit... I'm not too sure my modern French cars. But
no, the C1 is the actual Citroen version of it, which is exactly the same car, but Peugeot called it the 107. And the oldest car, I think, amongst them other than Metro, was Weevil's Fiat Uno, Brave Man.
Yeah, it was cool to see one of them out there as well. Didn't he took a roll as well, didn't he, in the... was it the final? He rolled over He took a rollover in both his cars that afternoon. He rolled over in the first heat in his 4x4, and yes, he did roll over in the final as well. Oh, yeah, he must have had fun then.
Yeah, he certainly showed it in the pits, where he had a big smile on his face. And of course, Weevil, being in his 4x4, just as we mentioned, that got absolutely annihilated on the pit bench by Cotton Eye Joe Cotton. I mean, I'd never thought I'd see one. I mean, he did say to me at the start of the meeting that the back end was completely rotten. Did you have a look inside the boot of that, Matt?
I actually didn't look inside at all, but the damage though was just unreal. When it happened, I've never seen a Jeep sort of bend as much as that. It was proper crusty, but I mean, the picture after the meeting says it all. It just absolutely destroyed. So yeah, pretty mental that, but yeah, good DD overall, certainly, from the 4x4s.
And the back to basics again, a very lively afternoon. Lauren Annette, of course, never fails to impress us. She actually started reversing it up on the pit bend right in front of the pit gate.
Again, it's a little thing now, isn't it? Every back to basic meeting, stick it in reverse. Why not? She sort of does a Lee Hopkins now every now and again, which is quite cool to see. So hopefully we'll see them do that again in the future.
Definitely, and actually, you could class that as the best painted car on the afternoon, the best hand-painted car.
Yes, certainly. It's quite an easy choice in the end, simply because I was told from Team Smarties themselves not to choose as Team Smarties driver for best paint or Lee Hopkins. So gave it to Lauren purely because the actual Smarties she had in the car sort of were different to the actual team's counterparts, and also the lettering was very on point as well. So quite an easy decision in the end. So top effort from Lauren.
And the highlight of your afternoon, you was
my
actually
pace
given
car
the privilege.
Yeah, I was given the privilege of going on the pace car after the DD, the 4x4 DD, of which some people said looked quite miserable on there. I don't know what you saw of that, Andy, but it was quite a bizarre experience.
I don't think it was more a case of looking miserable. I think you looked worried.
Scared. Yeah, I was scared. Get me out in a banger any day. I'd rather that than go on the pace car. But it was cool though. I mean, it's not the first time I've been on the pace car. I went on a pace car at Mildenhall back in 2012 when we was presenting I think it was the pre-70 Constellation race. I got to go on the lap of honour, which is quite cool.
Yes,
but that was slow though. That was slow. That was on that old Jeep pickup truck, whereas that was a modern Merc, so it was a lot faster.
And last report just coming from last night at the Arlington Raceway in Eastbourne, where they had the 7th round of the Gold Rush Series for the Bangers, which again saw a lot of the locals and top drivers competing for a place in the Banger Well Final in November at Ipswich. And the place went away in the end to Mark Pope, 426 Popey, has now ceded his place in this year's Banger Well Final with Ipswich in November. That's the rookie spec bangers, of course. And that completes our reports from the last couple of weekends. We move on now to the news, where 190 Pikey went on to win the Auto Speed World Championship just ahead of his teammate Steve Carter Nemesis, who came across in second. And also as well was reports from the Scottish Championship for 245 Zach Murdoch winning the Van Banger Scottish Championship, which saw Lochgelly 35 vans turn up to compete for the championship. And Street Bangers 155, Matt.
Yeah, 155. Even myself is booked in for that at the moment. But yeah, incredible effort there. The annual Street Banger Open meeting at Stan Lake has been hosted since I think 2014 or 2014. You never get any less than 100 Street Bangers. Usually this time of year you get 150, and on the day you get about 110, 120. But hopefully we can smash that barrier of 130, 140 this year. But who knows? But it's a good effort. That's at Stan Lake on the 22nd of October, so that's going to be good. As I say, I'm booked in for that, pending if my car survives from this weekend. More on that in a bit. But yeah, moving on. Where am I? We say well done to Jason Greener, who become the Aldershot Banger Track Championship champion. That's the obviously the speed of domestic bangers. 188 John Victor Reeves won the Dover's Masters Championship a fortnight ago to conclude the first year of the RMC Motorsport banner at Dover Raceway. Most recently, we say well done as well to 22 Dave Vincent, who took the World of Shell Championship at King's Lynn. That was for Unlimited National Bangers. And of course, Andy, a late change to this weekend's fixture at Mildenhall.
Yes, we'll go on to that very shortly on the fixtures page. We'll talk about that because there has been some changes to two of the classes on the afternoon. But
we're going to move on as well. I think that's the news rounded up now. But it's worth mentioning a banger game is out on the App Store for iPhones and Androids, I believe, as well. It's called Demolition Banger Smash. It's out now. It's made by Mad Cow Productions. It is currently free with, I believe, added extras which you pay for. And there's also a caged advert on the game as well. So thanks to Bryson for paying for that on there as well. But Demolition Banger Smash is pretty much a Destruction Derby based game on your phone. It's not banger racing like Bangers Unlimited 2, but it's close enough, and it features micras, hearses, pickup trucks, vans, that kind of thing. So yeah, feel free to download that.
Excellent. I must admit, I have downloaded it, and it's starting to become a little bit addictive. So every now and then, just have to put it down and walk away.
Have you tried Bangers Unlimited 2 yet?
Yes. Yeah, it's another one that I get told off for playing for too long.
Yeah, it's obviously it's very addictive. All the tracks are on there. For anyone that's not got Bangers Unlimited 2 on iOS or Android or Google, whatever you call it, it's worth buying and downloading, because Bangers Unlimited 2 is the closest you get to a proper banger game on a mobile phone. So that is worth downloading. Also worth mentioning that Stock Cars Unleashed 2 will be released in 2018 from the same guy. So hopefully that'll be good. That's for Brisker F1s, Jordan. So I'm sure you'll be interested in that.
Yeah, no, that sounds good. I've seen a few pictures of the cars on that for Twitter as well. So yeah, that looks brilliant actually. Yeah, after the kids are getting that.
Yeah, hopefully that'll be good. And moving on, it's time for the discussion part of the podcast. We've got not one, not two, but three talking points around banger racing. I don't know if we've got any replies on our feed or Oval Chat yet. It doesn't like it. I'm a little bit surprised, so you might be a bit late if you're going to comment on Oval Chat now. But the first one is regarding alcohol at racing. So this is more from a spectator viewpoint, or so I say for spectators rather than for drivers, basically. So obviously, we don't condemn drinking and when you're racing on the banger tracks. So that's a no-no. But what do we guys think of alcohol at racing with spectators, basically? Do you need drink to have a good time when you're watching the racing?
I think it's nice to have a drink and obviously enjoy the racing, and obviously just to relax and sort of, I'm not going to deny it, racing, when you have had, a couple of beers, you feel a bit more relaxed. And it does create a bit of an atmosphere. But unfortunately, on the negative side to that is, I've noticed a lot of people just seem to turn up with big crates of beer now, and they seem to think that they have to drink them all before they all go home.
Yeah, it's sort of, to me, don't hate on me, it's only my opinion. I go racing for the race. I don't go to sort of get smashed. If you have a drink, say a drink or two, that's fair enough. I certainly wouldn't say no to that. Even I'd have a drink if I could, but sadly I drive. But it just, to me, it doesn't. I don't see the point of getting, as I would say, smashed at racing. I don't know what the fight was at the Bears Bash this year, but that seemed a bit out of control. I don't know if alcohol was involved in that at all, but again, it's just a fine example of if drink was involved there, why it shouldn't be brought into the racetrack. And you look at tracks like Ringwood as well, especially. The Jason Burke Farrell meeting, tons of people with drink. It was unreal. You felt quite unsafe at times, especially on the home straight, high up at the back. There's quite a lot of people shouting and, just being a bit silly, really. But I think if I was in control of everything, I'll say no to drink at all. I think Stan Lake has a strict no drink policy everywhere around the track. So I think that's the way I'd do it. But at the end of the day, realistically, it's never going to happen. I think a drink or two, it should be. But Harry Spencer said on Facebook, 100% should be banned. Stephen said, well, drivers shouldn't drink it anyway if you're racing. That's if you're racing, obviously. And Todd Payne said on Facebook, if you haven't got the minerals to race without it, then you should not be out there, which of course is very true. What do you think, Jordan? Gone a bit quiet there.
Yeah, no, I was just listening to what you and Andy were saying, actually, because I was thinking about it. Yeah, no, I completely agree with everything both you guys have said. I think if you're going to go to a racetrack just for the drink, then you shouldn't be there, really. You should be at the racetrack to watch the racing, not for getting hammered, really. If you want to do that, fine, go to a club, but stay away and let us enjoy the racing, which is what we all want to be led to do.
Yeah, of course. And a lot of people, obviously, Emin's all about the drink, isn't it? We've all heard about Emin. There was a bit of a controversy surrounding the meeting. Was it the I forgot the name of it.
Was it
Blue Oyster? Yeah. There was a bit of controversy about that, whether the meeting was moved for this specific reason, so the English didn't go over there getting hammered and causing upsets to the local town of Emin. So but eventually they go on.
We still haven't got to the bottom of that, actually. No one seems to even know now what was the actual issue. No one from Emmons come online and said, it was because of this reason, it was because of that. I mean,
yeah, very
obviously, Yeah.
No, I mean, at the end of the day, it's weird in the first place. Why did they move it to the same night as the National World Final at Ipswich? I just I couldn't understand that. I mean, I don't know. Like you say, they have not come out of anything. The only reason I could think of was to do with the drink. But again, we're never going to know, are we? Unless we ask him directly, I suppose.
No, exactly. I mean, you had a few people come over from Holland, come online and said, no, there's always people over there that drink a lot, but the behaviour's normally really good, actually.
Yeah,
people say. Exactly. I mean, that's only stuff I've heard as well and read online because I've never been over there. But yeah, it just seems a bit different, the attitude over there with drink compared to over here.
Yeah.
I think even when the Dutch come over here for the big meetings, I think actually when we went to the King's Lynn or Granada meeting, me and my dad, there was a few Dutch guys standing next to us, and they said they'd been drinking since about 8 o'clock that morning or something like that.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That's mental.
But they were fine actually. They were quite funny actually. But yeah, no, I don't know.
I think just be sensible with it. Don't go over the top and don't get too involved with strangers. But firecracker as well. Back in the day, 10 or so years ago, firecracker when it was at its best. Of course, all the Dutch would come over with boxes of drink. It was unreal. I remember going back in 2005, my first ever. When I was must have been about 11 or 12 when I went to my first firecracker. My God, the amount of drink. But thankfully, it wasn't that bad, I don't think. There was no sort of upset among the crowd. But it was all in good spirit as well. So I think it's just a case of just be careful and don't go over the top. Any other comments you want to make about drink or moving on?
No, we'll move on from that subject.
Yep. So next one is, as we just discussed, the firecracker. How can it be fixed / improved? It's obviously a big talking point now because I'd say since 2007 it's not been quite the height at its best, and then you had a few good years with lower turnouts, but in the last 2 or 3 years it's sort of gone down to more of a glorified domestic, people are sort of calling it. But what is the best way to improve it, whether that's keep it as it is, but promote it a lot early in advance, and maybe dish out some top car awards or start money, that sort of thing? Or do we change the format altogether?
Change the format, in my opinion. Anyway, that is. I think you only have to look at the Bears Bash meeting the last few years, just become more and more popular with. I think I don't know, 100 cars really. It being fully booked, drivers from all over the UK coming and enjoying themselves really, and that's what it's all about. I mean, the thing is,
go on.
No, what I was going to say was the thing is with Arena, it's such a fast track that you need the money to be able to compete. And I know it's banger racing, so you don't really compete. It's all about having fun. But if you look at the more serious side of it nowadays, people do spend that money. And people won't want to race there if they're just going to get blown up straight away, especially if they make the effort with an old car or whatever.
Yeah, that's the problem. I'm certainly leaning towards more the Bears Bash sort of meeting. Obviously more of a bit basic build, full contact from the get go. Back to basic format. I think this is. I'd say straight away no to a back to basic format as a whole. But maybe we could implement something where you have unlimited national bangers. Obviously, it's the main event. How about back to basics as a support formula? Now, this is something that a few people might not agree with me. A lot of people will be getting angry just listening to me ramble on about it. But I remember Aldershot every year does at least one fixture. We have unlimited national bangers and unlimited back to basics on the same day. And of course, you get a huge crowd for the nationals, and you get a few for the back to basics. But people always come away saying the back to basics was better. I know, obviously, the firecracker is all about the big hits and the old cars and the Yanks and that kind of thing. But it depends. Either you'd have unlimited firecracker with unlimited back to basics, or you'd, I don't know. It's hard to say really. Obviously, I mean, how far do you take the back to basics at a firecracker? Do you say you've got to remove your dashboard completely? Or do you just keep it traditional, nudge and spin throughout the whole day until the final and DD? I don't know. What do you guys think?
I would reckon, being that it's Arena Essex, it'd be best to take the dashboard out.
Yeah,
because,
definitely.
as you say, it's a fast track. If someone gets followed in, that dashboard is going to hurt.
Yeah.
So
I'm
would agree, take it out.
I'm just thinking, it's a wacky idea. Unlimited national bangers, say, I don't know, 40 to 60 cars. Unlimited back to basics on the same day. Maybe, again, at least 40, 50 cars. And imagine, rip up the dashboards, have nudge and spin heats, and then full contact final and DD. But imagine getting old Rovers and Yanks in back to basics. That'd be awesome. I think it'd be top notch. I'd love to see that. I know it's a wacky idea, but I certainly don't see why not. I think I certainly think that idea, or the Bears Bash rule idea, so with obviously no back to basics and support. But I also think Top Car Awards, start money, that kind of thing, would go a long way towards getting another big turnout like the old days. But I think them days are long gone. Obviously, in its prime, you'd get 180 unlimiteds on the day.
Yeah.
And times are changing as well. I know a lot of people hate me for mentioning back to basics on the same day, but of course we can't carry on with the way it is. I think we've got to move on. And I don't see a problem with back to basics. That's my opinion. So, yeah, I don't know if anyone's got any other comments you want to make, regardless of how you'd run it if you were in charge.
I reckon, as you say, go with the Bears Bash rule because it worked, and it's worked for the last 3 years that it's been run at Arlington. And to be fair, I mean, the cars aren't easy to get now. They're more expensive. I mean, even the man on the street knows how much a certain car is worth to someone who wants it that badly to race. And I think as well, if you look back to the fixtures, back to the earlier years of the Firecracker, we didn't really have so much big car meetings throughout the year, if you get what I mean. If you think back, there weren't so many certain car meetings. There weren't, there was just certain meetings at certain tracks throughout the year, and the only meeting that come close to it, obviously, still is the Bangerwell final, which took place at Wimbledon, obviously now at Ipswich. But I think it's just a case of there's just so many big car meetings now, and obviously everyone wants to repress at certain meetings. I think that's where the problems fall. But I would agree, sticking on two classes. I agree with you, Matt, on that.
So what, are you on about the decline of certain meetings over the years?
I think it's a case of there's more of these sort of big meetings where they race like Granadas and Volvos, and there's some meetings that race all of meetings. Yeah, I think there's just so many of them now. I don't think promoters sit back and realise, the whole reason why a lot of their tracks and a lot of other tracks are struggling with cars and drivers are struggling to keep up, and obviously they ain't always got time to build cars, not some of the modern cars, is purely because there's so many of them.
Yeah, it's
and that's my point on it.
Yeah,
no, I agree with that.
When I first started going racing 13 years ago, it was the meeting names that attracted the big names in cars, like Firecracker, Pre-68, Blockbuster, Bone Shaker, that kind of thing. And now it's like you just said, Andy. The meeting names don't matter anymore. It's more the one car meetings, the pre-70s, the retirement meetings, the testimonials, that kind of thing. So, and like you said, the World Final, the Speedway World Final, is one of the only ones that is still going strong after every year. I mean, you look at Auto Speed World, we'll come on to this in a minute, but Auto Speed World Final, Arena World Final, all the turnouts have dropped there, and obviously the Speedway one has actually got bigger since the move from Wimbledon to Ipswich. Was it nearly 200 cars you get a year there now?
Yeah.
But of course,
over that sometimes.
But it's growing. The Speed of World Final is growing, whereas the other meetings, big meetings like Firecracker and them kind of meetings, they're just sort of slowly dropping off like flies. So, I mean, personally, I'd like to see going off topic now. I would like to see these big meeting names make a return and make a name for themselves yet again. But again, it's up to the drivers and whether everyone gets behind it. So, it's a toughie, really. Like we said last time, Blockbuster and Bone Shaker at St Day, they sort of dropped off big time down there. I remember the Blockbuster used to hit 80 cars a time, and the Bone Shaker would hit 100 cars, and now they're barely getting 20 cars a time. So, quite sad times, but it seems to be these one-off meetings are doing better now.
I think that pretty much sums up that topic, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah,
and
definitely.
And obviously, we move on, as you were saying, Matt, about is there too many World Finals? And yes, there is.
There is
too many World Finals.
I think we should look at this in two ways. Do we look at it as an unlimited national banger way, and the fact there's too many like Mickey Mouse World Finals? if that's the term for it.
Gold roof races.
Yeah, like pre-70s vans, that kind of stuff. I mean, let's start off with obviously the national banger one. So you've got Speedworth, you've got Arena, Auto Speed, and now the recently announced Ringwood World Final. So how do you feel about these four?
Too many. There's too many. I mean, do we really need, for example, you could have 4 different world champions.
Yeah.
I mean, the official world finals used to be the Speedworth one, and someone said to me the actual main,
I'll say the PRI
main one is the PRI world, because it's actually the ORCI PRI world final.
And it's 47th year.
They hold it.
It's the 47th year of the PRI World Final. So technically, the PRI one we should keep that because it's the longest serving. And also we should keep the Speedworth one purely because it's the biggest and the best. So does that make Auto Speed World Final void? Because it barely hits 30 cars now.
I think what Auto Speed should look at is just the whole unlimited banger scene in general over the last few years, which has really declined. If you look at, say, like as you say, Matt, Blockbuster and Auto Speed World Final and Crasherama as well at Taunton, that used to be a great
that's
meet.
Another big one.
Definitely.
And that's declined. So I think they need to really revert back to the micro national bangers, because I actually don't think there is actually a world final for the micros.
No, there isn't. That's no disrespect to Auto Speed, but it just seems like just a pointless world final now. We don't need. Take it. Cool. Just rename it to the Southwest or whatever championship or something. I don't know, just something like that. And of course, the recently announced Ringwood World Final in 2018, dates to be confirmed. I think the reason for this one is it's a non-ORCI based World Final. So how do we feel about that? Do we think that's a fair decision? Do you think?
The thing is, sorry, Andy. The thing is,
go for it.
The thing is with this, it's all well and good calling it a non-ORCI World Final, but most of the drivers that race at Ringwood are ORCI registered anyway. You find that most of the top boys that race at Ringwood often race at, say, some of the bigger events elsewhere, like, I don't know, Kingston and Speedworth meetings, really. So I think adding that in the non-ORCI World Final, I don't really think that matters, to be honest.
No.
I just think it's another
I'll give it a go.
World Final.
I'll give it a go. We'll see what happens, whether they get 100 cars. I think Ringwood should concentrate more on the UK Open, which is their flagship meeting. It's huge. They've sort of dropped the prize money this year, which is weird. Maybe it could be a hint towards the World Final. But I just think they should concentrate more on the UK Open. I don't see why not a World Final there, in my opinion, if it's non-ORCI. But I just hope they don't let the UK Open down, because that's such a good meeting. It's the end of the year. It's freezing cold. You're freezing your bollocks off, mind my language. It's the nearest thing to firecracker, I think, is the UK Open. So I think they should concentrate on the UK Open. Try and do both as best as they can, really, but obviously not to get I can't say the word, to tear out the UK Open too much. So that's a tough one, really, but we'll see anyway next year. So any other comments you want to make on that before we go on to the next lot of World Finals?
I think, in fairness, this Ringwood one, and I might be stringing myself off by a string here, and I'm not trying to sort of say anything bad against Ringwood, but I feel this might just be a competition towards the Speedsworth one.
Could be.
And I wouldn't be surprised if it happens around October, November time. Same one.
How about a repeat?
Look,
I got
a
feeling.
before, probably.
You just got that feeling.
How about a repeat of Blockbuster 2005 when they both clashed on the same day to see who could get the most cars?
Exactly, and that's what we said in one of our previous podcasts, was where they need to look at where they fixture their meetings and try and work together.
Yeah,
but I mean, good luck to Ringwood. If they pull it off, as you say, and they get well over 100 cars, then fair play to them.
I reckon November.
It'll be November.
This is what I think November, purely because I feel, for one, it'd be just weeks before the UK Open, so any leftovers can go to the UK Open. And secondly, thinking logically, I'm not going to lie, I actually preferred the Speed of World Final being in November, being at the end of the year.
Yep.
So I think November's the best time for it, 'cause there's not much else on other than Champion of Champions and them come to meetings. So I think middle of November would be the perfect time for it, because I know it's where Speed used to have the World Final, but to me that's the month of the World Final. So I'm hoping for a November date. But moving on is obviously the other World Finals, pre-70s vans. How do you feel about them?
Again, do they really need to be World Finals? They're fun meetings. They're domestic meetings. There's something different. They shouldn't always. It's the thing is with these meetings. Everyone who turns up and races is racing for something, a championship, or whatever. But because of that, it takes all the fun element out of it, because then they don't want to crash. Stop me if I'm wrong.
Yeah,
I mean, I completely agree. I think that's the reason why the sport is becoming so serious now. It's because the glory is on winning rather than having a crash and put on a smile. Well, I don't know. The crowd's face, your face, even the guy you hit, he'll have a smile on his face probably when he gets that. And I think these novelty meetings, as you say, Andy, I don't really think they need to have a world championship for them, because they're all about being fun and having a laugh and really going away from the serious side of the sport just for one meeting, really.
The only exception I will make is, of course, going back to Ringwood, is the Van World Final, because they've had that for donkey's years now, since I think maybe middle 90s, late 90s, I'm not too sure.
Yeah, about mid 90s.
But certainly that's the original Van Banger World Final, so we'll keep that. In terms of, there's no pre-70 World Finals anymore, I don't think. I know Speed have had one for a few years. And that obviously died off after some time. So there's no pre-70 ones left, really. I think the Reliant Robin World Final is fair enough. That's pretty obvious. Any other World Finals we got? We haven't got a Ramp Rollover World Final, have we yet? There's no
There's still time. There's still time.
Don't speak too soon, yeah. That's all just got back to basics next year, innit, apparently?
It wouldn't be, yeah, but probably one of the meetings we'll put on.
Ramp Rollover, as well as Ramp Championship of the Universe.
Ramp Jump World Final.
There's ever been a Caravan World Final? I thought of that the other week. Has there ever been a Caravan World Championship?
No.
That's an interesting one. No, there hasn't.
Ooh, because I quite like the idea of that. I don't know, it wouldn't work because you'd need to have heats and that kind of thing, because the mess would be unreal. But yeah, I'll shut up there. I won't go any further with that one.
I was going to say, someone's going to get an idea from this, and we're back to the start, aren't we?
We're back to square one. This time next year,
exactly.
We'll be talking about too many World Finals again.
Too many Caravan Banger World Finals.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I'm just going to say quickly, well done, Jordan, on your F1stockcars.com
well done.
spot.
Thank you very much, yeah.
You weren't expecting that, were you?
No, I weren't. That was really a shock, to be honest. Obviously, I'd done a preview and a report for that meeting, and yeah, I just got the message today when I got in from school, and
so
it was
is it a caged equivalent of F1 stock cars, or what exactly is it like?
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. It's I'll just basically, they'll ask me if I'm going to a meeting at the weekend. I'll say yes, I'll say no, depending on obviously what I'm doing, what my dad's doing, and all that. And yeah, write a report afterwards, and then send it in to him, they'll edit it and put it online. So yeah.
Cool,
no,
good
it's
stuff.
really good, actually.
So now we're going to move on to the off-topic section, where we talk about EastEnders, Coronation Street,
Emmerdale.
Yeah, all that good stuff. Nah, I'm only kidding. It's the off-topic. I don't know. Will you cover Rod Formers? I'm not too sure, but it's your little section, Jordan. You got the spotlight now.
Yes.
You can talk whatever you want about stock cars or hot rods or whatever for about 5 minutes. So this is your spotlight for the F1 World Final.
Yes, thank you. And first of all, what a race. It was probably one of the most exciting flag-to-flag races I've seen in a long time. I mean, Nigel Green starting on pole position. He actually held back a lot from the start, let Dan Johnson on the outside have a couple of car lengths at the start, and then he literally put his foot down and just went for it. He headed the field of cars into turn one, and there was a massive, massive push from the midfield. I think it was actually ex-National Bangla star Rob Spitty came 318, making probably his last appearance in an F1 race, putting in the bumper going into turn one, and it literally wiped out the whole of the overseas field that were in the world final. Yeah, probably 5 or 6 cars were involved in that. I think someone actually lost their roof spoiler thing off the top of their car. So that just goes to show you how hard the impact was. And surprisingly, actually, the yellow flags didn't come out straight away, which meant when the field came around again, more cars got pushed into it, including the world champion, Frankie Raymond Jr., or the former world champion, should I say now. Yeah. So
what was the atmosphere like? Big question. Compared to Kings Lynn and, of course, the Coventry, which is now gone, obviously. What was the atmosphere like? And did it live up to them days of the other tracks?
I must admit, I didn't go to a Coventry World Final or Kings Lynn World Final.
Oh.
In fact, this was my first F1 World Final, so I'm not going to answer that actually. But no, I thought it was a great night personally. Yeah, I
saw a few empty seats, but I don't think that took away from it too much, did it?
Nah, absolutely not. Not in my opinion anyway. I thought the atmosphere was brilliant, really. I think everyone was there to have a good time, cheering on their favourites, booing the pantomime villains as they were.
I mean, is it? I've never been to an F1 final myself, but is it as big or bigger than the National Banger World Final?
I don't know.
Not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure, to be honest. I think that a lot of people were unhappy that it was at Ipswich because the F1s have only ever go to Ipswich once a year, and that's for the Thunder 500 meeting supporting the national upwards. So yeah, people a bit like, well, this is a bit weird having a world final at a track we only race at once a year. And as I said, people thinking, oh, it's going to be a hot rod race, this and that, but it was far from it. I mean, on the restart, there was a great battle from, I think it was 4th position, with Ryan Harrison really putting the pressure on Stuart Smith. So yeah, that was a really good battle, and Nigel Green really just went away with it. That was until he got into the back markers, as he was going through the back markers, he got a little hit from Dutch star Jan Kuhn. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Who, yeah, he nearly took out Nigel Green, actually, when Nigel looked like he was really getting away with it. And that allowed Dan Johnson to close in. And, yeah, the gap remained pretty small. A couple of car lengths. You know, Dan Johnson was keeping Nigel honest, which surprised me, actually, because I thought Nigel was really going to just go away with it, really, run away with it. But yeah, on the last lap, Dan Johnson, wow. I've never seen such a dive bomb, really. I think from at least 3 car lengths back, basically cutting the whole of turn 3 off, going on a shower just to try one last effort to take him out.
Sort of thing you do on the PlayStation 2, on like, I don't know, a Gran Turismo or something.
Just one last effort, straight in, yeah. But give Dan Johnson credit. He said afterwards, I'd rather wreck my car than come second. So that in itself just shows you what a kind of a man he is. And he still, I think it was Stuart Smith, pushed him around for like almost his own lap of honour, just for that one last effort, which I think the crowd loved. From where I was standing, there was a lot of cheering for him, actually, myself included, really.
Yeah,
So
overall it was good then. I mean, that's good to hear, because obviously, myself personally, again, like, I've never been to an F1 World Final. When I first saw it was at Ipswich, obviously it's a much bigger track to race on, and it's not shale, so there was quite a bit of pressure for the entertainment factor to be there. But like you say, it was overall a good meeting. Yeah, no, I thought it was a good meeting, and I'm reading stuff online, like on Stuxnet and stuff. It surprised a lot of people, really. Yeah, people were surprised. Any other stock car news or anything like that you want to say until the next podcast? Not really, no. Just one thing: the National Rods are back in action this Saturday night at Birmingham Wills Raceway. So if you're up Birmingham, go and have a look at the National Hot Rods. If always produce some great, Birmingham. Give it a go. Give it a go. They always produce great racing, and it's a world qualifying rounds. Yeah, go along to that. That's good. Now, we move on to near the end of the podcast, sadly. Boo. Until another 2 or 3 weeks' time. And that's with the fixtures. So, I might read the first few out. So the first one is, there's not much really to mention this weekend. It seems to be getting to that dead end of the season now for banger racing. So we start off on Saturday the 23rd at Ipswich, where they play host to the grand final of the Domestic Banger Track Championship. So there should be, I don't know, look how many I booked in for that, but as I said, the Track Championship grand final should be pretty decent up there. If you're around that area, could be worth going. Moving on to Sunday, the 24th, is of course at Hennisford, the annual Classic Banger Day for pre-87 bangers. Of course, the former meeting was the pre-68 and a pre-87 format this year. So far, there's 27 cars booked, and that's for both the unders and overs classes. So not quite as many as we'd all hope, but hopefully that'll be all right. I don't know what you guys think of that, but again, that's another meeting that sort of lost its ways, but hopefully it'll be all right overall. I think it's just, again, a glorified pre-classic car meeting, but it should. I wish it the best, really, because it is a proper banger meeting. Then an Aldershot on Sunday as well. We have the Back to Basic meeting, including trailer race. If it tows, it goes. Currently 20 cars booked. Do we have a trailer race booking list, Andy, or not for that one?
No, they haven't put that up. It's purely just drivers listed. It's up to 25 now, I'm pleased to say.
That's all right then. But as we say, anything could be trailers, horse boxes, caravans. I don't know if they're allowed or not in this meeting, but
yes, caravans as well. It's striped as caravans plus trailers.
Yeah, so real variety there. So if you're around the Hampshire area, certainly go to Aldershot. Not quite as many Back to Basics as we'd like, but certainly the If It Tows, It Goes trailer race should be very entertaining indeed. Also on Sunday is the Arena S6 National Banger PRI World Final, which is in its 47th year, which we mentioned earlier on. So again, hopefully it should be a good day. Obviously, another world final. Who's going to win there? We'll have to wait and see. At Stan Lake, 800cc street bangers featuring ladies bangers, including me on track. So I won't bother going there. If you're planning on racing, load up. Don't bother going. Unload your cars, because I'm just going to ruin that meeting for you, I'm afraid. But yeah, it should be good. I've got a used Corsa now instead of a fresh Mondeo Estate. So if I can finish a race, I'll be more than happy with that. So yeah, hopefully it shouldn't be too bad. And Andy, we've got Mildenhall this Sunday.
Yes, as we said towards the start of the podcast, there's a change to the fixtures. Obviously, it was going to be Siamese bangers, which I was truly looking forward to. That, unfortunately, due to low car numbers, got changed earlier in the week, and now features more micro bangers. Can't have enough micro meetings, certainly. And also as well, the mini stocks were due on that day, the RCI mini stocks. That has also been altered, and they've been taken off the fixtures and replaced by junior bangers. And there's also an earlier start time for that meeting. It now starts at 1 o'clock, also featuring our Briscoe Formula 2 stock cars and National Saloon stock cars. So that's 1 o'clock at Mildenhall this Sunday. Can
I just say, I can't believe the uproar regarding this meeting. I really cannot believe it. I'm gonna go mad. I'm gonna have a little rant now. I can't believe people are moaning over 3 Siamese cars not racing.
Let them moan that it was Roddy as well, probably.
I know. This is what I don't get. It's a business decision, right? Okay. Apart from 2 decisions I want to keen on this year from Mildenhall Stadium Limited. Apart from that, like I said earlier in the year, it's been a good first year for Mildenhall Stadium Limited. But it's just, I think it's the right decision. When you got 3 or 4 booked in, plus only 4 mini stocks, I think it was as well, hence their cancellation.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see the point in going ahead with that. Just 3 Siamese cars and obviously 4 mini stocks. That's 7 cars over 2 classes. But again, I think it's the right decision. I know a lot of people disagree with it. I know it's last minute, which isn't great, but at the end of the day, they can't. It's just not viable in my opinion. So I just don't see the point in people moaning about it. I can understand the micro banging meeting earlier on in the year being cancelled and the pre-90 Suffolk Open changing dates, but apart from that, I don't see the problem with this change at all. So yeah.
You got that off your chest now, Matt.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I feel calm now. I feel relaxed. I just have to get something off my chest, because at the end of the day, I know at Mildenhall they're not used to booking in yet. But if on the booking list Dave sees 3 Siamese cars and 4 mini stocks. You change it. That's what I'd do. So I totally support that decision, no matter what you think of my opinion.
No. I agree with that. I agree that you're in it's a no-win situation, no matter what happens.
Yeah. And how many booked in? 20? Is it 20 plus micros at least? I think.
29, I think I read earlier on Oval
29. There you go. That's better than 3 Siamese cars. I mean, they could even throw the Siamese in support as well, but obviously that's too late now. But that could have been another possibility. But oh well, we move on.
Yeah, and just to add to the fixtures, that Wednesday the 27th of September at Arlington and Eastbourne at 7:30. Believe it or not, it's more National Banger Micro Madness.
Hey, and talking of Micro Bangers Madness at Eastbourne, there's also late news that came through today, wasn't there, regarding the fixture in December.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Arlington meeting.
Yes.
I think it was 9th of December, wasn't it?
Yep, something like that.
So, yeah.
To replace... To effectively replace the Wimbledon Micro Banger fixture, basically. So, I certainly think that's a good idea. I don't know about you, but a nice cold night at Eastbourne is on the cards.
Well, good one.
I think that wraps
Near
it up
my birthday as well, so yeah.
Well, that's pretty handy. There you go, little birthday present.
Birthday present, yeah. Dad, if you're listening, there you go. Dad, if you're listening, there you go. Birthday.
Take me out to a cold Eastbourne.
Yeah, nothing can be better, can it?
No. Well, I think that's it, Andy. Is that about it?
That concludes tonight's podcast. A big thank you to Jordan Hollands. Thank you, Jordan.
Thank you, Matt. No, sorry, thank you, Andy. Sorry.
Thank you, Andy. We're getting on my job now, aren't we?
And of course, thank you to Matt Josie and myself, Andy Watts. So from all of us at Cage Full Throttle, till next time, stay safe out there. Bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye.